Hey everybody, welcome to today's video. The first thing that we're going to do is talk about some stuff from my last video that came out where the sound quality was awful. It was almost even humorous, which is why I left it up, because it's like the sound cut out every time I tried to make a valid point. So it's like some things you could hear and some things you couldn't. So I'm going to start off with that. So then we're going to talk about a couple other different things. So I guess this is like what I wish I knew, part 3.5. All right, so I hope you enjoyed today's video. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is those fusions that the sound kind of cut in and out on. So you have all these epic heroes that you have to build up that then become part of a fusion for either Gwen or Strybog. Now, I did say that I recommend Gwen first, and that's only so you can get in rifts. That does not mean that Strybog is not worth fusing. Strybog is one of the best heroes in the game, in my opinion, and I think that he is a fabulous hero. So, but some of those epics and some of those rares are actually really solid heroes that if you don't get lucky enough to pull from the altar, I highly recommend trying to fuse them as well. Like, for instance, Ketra is a rare who is fantastic. She's so good. Now, there's talks of some hero updates coming, so whenever those do come to fruition or whatever they end up deciding on, I'll definitely go through that whenever it happens. But at this point in time, Ketra is stellar to have. Primislav is one of the heroes that's needed to fuse Gwen, and Primislav is fantastic for farming. He's really great with it. So if you can't pull him, I would maybe work on trying to fuse him as well, because he's really beneficial to farm. And then Lilith is another one that you need to fuse Gwen. And I personally love Lilith. I use her especially on the purple raid boss. So she's a good one to fuse an extra copy of if you're not able to pull her from the altar. So it does take, I believe it's 4 million to fuse the epic heroes in that. And then the final fusion is 20 million, which is so much gold, but it's worth it. The heroes are worth it to save up for. You just have to be really nitpicky on what you spend your gold on, and maybe, for a while, if you farm rifts a lot for artifacts, like go as high as you can without Guinevere. She is the great speed lead for rifts. Go as far as you can with that, and then sell whatever you don't need. Like whenever we talk about like purging artifacts and stuff that just don't have the main stats or the substats that you're looking for. If you're constantly in rifts for a long time, you can actually accrue gold pretty quickly. It's easy to spend that gold as well. So another thing that I recommend as far as the fusions go is I personally would hold them, if you can, until the Royal Treasurer event, because if you fuse one of the big heroes like Strybog or Guinevere, you will just complete it with that. You don't need anything else. So I'm actually working on a second Strybog for my main account, and when I do have enough gold to do that fusion, I'll kind of show you the process of how it goes in a little bit more in detail with that. Goodness, excuse me. The next thing that I did talk about in the last video was the Lexicon. Now, the Lexicon, I think, is a really valuable tool, specifically because you can go in and you can see all the heroes that are available, and you can see what they look like when they're fully maxed. So even some of these uncommon or common heroes, you can look and you can see what, when they're fully done, when they're awakened, and all of their they're fully like leveled up all the way to 660. It does show you the base stats of what the hero is there, so that's without any artifacts to increase it. But I think it's really good to really spend some time in the Lexicon. Like, say for instance, you're in your guild chat and somebody pulls a hero and you don't know what that hero does. Go to the Lexicon and search through it, and you can find what they do, and then you can look at their special skills and get really familiar with what they're like when all of their information and all their specials are maxed. So as you're building teams and you're kind of like finding that synergy between the different heroes you have, it's really beneficial to have something to where you can then go look and see what it's like when they're fully maxed. So valuable tool for sure. The rest of the video I think actually had decent sound quality. So we'll move on to a couple new topics on this one, hence why I'm calling it What I Wish I Knew part 3.5. So the next thing people talk about is or ask that I see a lot is, where's the best place to farm? It really depends on what you need. So if you're looking to have your heroes experience go up, then I recommend the campaign. Rifts are great, but you're not going to get as high of a hero XP whenever you're farming for like to grow your heroes into cauldrons or raise their level or whatever you're doing. Stay in the campaign for that. And I recommend going as high as you can and still autoplay. So that way you just kind of like can grind the same level and then you can push forward as your heroes get a little bit stronger. What I like to do is I have usually a farming hero, someone like a Primislav or Santa or Zoe, or a hero that is an AoE hero. And then with that, I like to have a hero that I'm actively trying to level up. And then usually, one or two heroes that I'm actually leveling, and then 2 heroes that I'm using as cauldrons. So that way I'm kind of like constantly churning everything. I'm increasing my heroes, but I'm also creating those fake cauldrons essentially to be able to ascend my heroes. So I try to just kind of do it all at once and make sure that I have one hero that can just like hold the team together while I'm going through that. But if you're farming for hero XP, definitely stay in campaign. Go as high as you can go, whether it's in Nightmare or Hell. Inferno is just like, don't try to level up heroes. That's like in-game business in Inferno. So if you're farming for artifacts, I highly recommend the Rift. Now, the one good thing, if you do decide that you need a specific piece, say for instance you want speed boots that are in the life set, then you find where that is in the campaign and you can just stick in that level where it has the boots, and you can just like over and over until you get what you want. Rifts, you're going to kind of just get artifacts willy-nilly. Like you can't decide what set it's going to come from. But since I personally always do the stat over sets, then it's not really that big of a deal, because as long as I'm keeping the ones that have the stats that I like, it's not going to really matter to me as much. Now, I do try to switch back and forth between Goliath and Phoenix, just simply because I want to have the option to potentially have sets for different heroes. But if I can't make the set, it's not going to be make or break for me. And then, of course, if you are farming for dust to awaken your heroes, you're always going to need moon dust for every single time that you awaken. So you're probably going to spend more time in the moon dust rift. But then the specific color rifts rotate through. So you kind of have to just be aware of what you're doing. And like right now on my main account, that's the thing that I'm doing the most, is I'm grinding for dust, because I have a lot of heroes that I want to awaken right now. So I'm basically splitting every day between doing the moon dust and then doing the color specific that's open. So you just kind of have to watch whenever the colored rifts open up, and it'll have a little timer on it, so you can be aware of how long you have left for that one to be open and how long you have until the next one becomes available. So it rotates through and then it starts over, and you get the point. So again, the way that I recommend it is for hero experience, I would highly recommend doing campaign, and I would recommend also with that having your XP boost available. So that if you're on your main screen and you go down to the bottom left, there's a little gold symbol that says shop, and then you go to miscellaneous, and then you can buy the XP boosts. That's going to double your hero experience. So highly recommend having that anytime that you are grinding for hero XP. And then if you need artifacts, I highly recommend the rifts. And I would get into rifts as early as you can, because the sooner that you start getting pieces of artifacts that are better, the more progress you're going to be able to make throughout the game. It's going to make you be able to go further in campaign, to then get higher experience for your heroes, and so on and so forth. So the two things that I think are really important to get into as early as you can are Arena and the Rifts. Now, Arena, some people don't care about it as much as I do. I'm a big Arena fan. I did neglect it a little bit this past season, but with the Arena, you have like your list of opponents and everything, and it's all broken into seasons and then cycles within the season. So an Arena season is it's a couple of months long, and then each cycle is 1 week. So at the end of the season, it's going to take the total of how many medals you are and divide it in half, and that's where you start the next season at. So everybody's like, why in the world am I bronze again? It's normal. It happened to everybody. So, but I think it's important to get into the Arena as soon as you can, because you're going to get those cabinet points, and the cabinet is so important. So I definitely recommend trying to get into Rifts very quickly and trying to get into Arena very quickly. So thanks for re-listening. I guess it wouldn't be re-listening if my sound was awful. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. As always, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'm going to get some content that's not a redo out either today or tomorrow, so we'll see. But anyway, thanks guys so much, and I hope you have a really great day.